Forgiveness, forgiveness, forgiveness. It's such a complicated thing. It still baffles me to this day, and exactly why I want to talk about it. What in the world is forgiveness? How do we do it? Is it even possible? I honestly don't have all the answers, but I can share with you part of my journey. So I had a very hard relationship with my father. He is diagnosed paranoid schizophrenic, and about when I was 10, we parted ways because it was simply dangerous and unsafe for me to be in his life. And about 10 years ago, we reconnected, which has been beautiful. And I've done that with very healthy boundaries, safe boundaries, and with the help of him being on some medication. And why I share this is because when I did finally reconnect with my father, I was really looking for an apology. How could he have treated me and the other people I love in such a horrific way? And I never got it. So this was wildly confusing because I knew he was excited that we were reconnected. I knew he wanted to do everything right in this new relationship we were building, yet there was no apology coming. So that's when I decided I was going to forgive him. I thought, okay, if he's not going to apologize, I can't force him to, because if I were to force him, then it really would be empty and really not have the effect I was looking for. So then I started reading all these books and talking to people about forgiveness and how do you do it. And honestly, I really never got it. The harder I tried, the harder it was. So I was hoping that time would heal, and that didn't do it either. It softened it a little bit, or perhaps my capacity to love or tolerate it grew, and so the pain was still the same. I don't know. But the one thing that really did help me with this whole idea of forgiveness was coming to a place of acceptance. Yeah. And what I mean by that is accepting him for who he is, accepting him for having this diagnosis of schizophrenia. It's not that I condone his behavior. That's different. But really coming to terms with the fact that this is his experience and this is the father that I got. And when I started to look at things that way, it started to shift things for me. I found myself less angry. I found myself not taking it as personally. I really started to separate him from the schizophrenia. I really started to see him as another human, just having an experience that was really scary and hard. I put myself in his shoes, trying to understand what would be happening for him to create all those behaviors. I still don't have the answers, and maybe one day I will, maybe I never will. I don't know. But it's with the empathy and the acceptance and the unconditional love that I was able to let go of my toxic feelings. The anger was affecting me in so many ways. My health was affected by it. I actually started to have heart conditions, which I do think was part of the stress of carrying this much anger, and also guilt. There was some weird guilt with all of it too. But I also destroyed relationships because I wasn't in a place that I could really hold a healthy relationship at different times in my life. Not to say that I had to be perfect to be in a relationship in any way. I don't want to give that misbelief to anybody. But because of my experience, I was just so upset inside, and it really just didn't bring out the best in me. I also found myself reacting to the littlest of things because I was carrying all those emotions with me. They were really a burden and very toxic for me. And it wasn't affecting him, yet it was his behavior that I was carrying the burden for. That didn't make any sense to me, to be carrying the burden of his choices and his behaviors. And maybe some of the choices weren't conscious. Maybe they were driven by the illness. And so that's why it's been so important to me to let it all go. Call it forgiveness, call it acceptance. It really doesn't matter. I don't know what the right term is, but what is important is for you to let it go. It's not yours to carry, and it's not helping you in any way, holding on to that anger or resentment or whatever it is that you're waiting for the apology for. You may never get it. And I want you to still find peace and joy without getting the apology. So just think about how you can let it go. Is there some way you can reframe it and say, it's not personal. This is this person's choice. And even if it's not one I agree with, it might have nothing to do with you, even if it is related to you. And even if it has everything to do with you, can you just accept it still and move on? I know it is so much easier said than done. And I promise you, it's so worth it. The rewards of forgiveness or acceptance or letting go are true freedom, feeling more peace, feeling more joy, feeling more willing to open up to new possibilities, and probably a lot lighter because you're not carrying the weight of that burden anymore. So this is what my invitation is to you, to really look at the situation in a whole new perspective. Can you find acceptance? Again, that's different than promoting a behavior or condoning a behavior. It is truly just saying, this is what it is. And when you can get to that place, you will be able to have all the rewards, and you don't have to carry the toxicity or anger or any of that bad stuff around anymore. Try it and let me know how it goes. And if you have any questions about forgiveness, please be sure to put them in the comments. I read every one and I answer to the best of my ability. I'm still learning, so I can only share what I've learned so far, but I'm happy to learn from all of you too. So, Jessica Zemple with Life Shucker, and this is my journey with forgiveness.
You can get my book, Shuck This Way, for free today at www.lifeshucker.com/shuck-this-way for all my coaching tips and tricks to help people shuck their shells open and shine their pearls.